Welcome to Tea and Truths, a podcast where women speak up. Truth is not sugar-coated and silence is broken. In this show, we're going to be covering a lot of topics, diverse ones, as the ladies are here with me. And I would love for all of us to introduce ourselves. I am your host, Natasha Ngegi.
I am Lois Ngendo.
I am Sharon Lutuko.
And I am the Eve Wanja.
Beautiful, aren't they? Now, today we're going to be covering a topic that is a very, very sensitive one and is the biggest issue amongst women of all ages, which is gender-based violence. The society is always talking, and unfortunately, no one is listening or reaching out for help. I am here with women who have gone through gender-based violence, and I also have an activist who is out to seek justice for women with her beautiful show, Free Me. So please do stay tuned, because I feel like today you're about to be moved. You're about to get angry. Am I right, ladies?
Yes.
It is. Yeah, because hatuwezi sema experiences za kila mtu ni the same. Yes. Sharon, would you like to start us off? You've been a victim of gender-based violence, right? Share with us your story.
So I think was tukianza kusema about GBV is the fact that most people wanajua for you to be a victim lazima ikue physical. Yeah, lazima kuna mtu maybe anakutandika, you get.
Yeah.
But from my side now, mine was emotional. Yeah, the fact that I was in marriage, definitely, and ukianza because utasita kitambo, okay, when you try to open up, and then you call like I think say anani abuse, and then the first thing to ulizwa is it beating you?
It has to be physical for it to be abused.
Like I think then uko sawa as long as akuchapi
Uko sawa.
Lakini sasa later on unakuja kuona all those pile ups. Yeah, maybe atakuja because mine was I'll say emotional, and then with abuse, what I'll say with the whole GBV vibe and everything, it's something that progresses.
Yeah.
Unaona haijaanza ataanza tu leo, that is going to just come home akutandike. Mostly inaanza na emotional abuse. Yeah. So I think with time
tutaendelea tu. Okay, mimi niko na swali. When you say about emotional, ni like ghosting. Juu sasa unajua kuna watu wanaelewa ni kuchapwa, violence sasa ni kuchapwa. So hiyo ukisema emotional ni nini alikuwa anafanya, like ghosting, kukuongelesha vibaya?
Yes, yangu ilikuwa especially the shouting and the control.
Yeah.
Ukianza marriage,
Yes.
you see, I think like in some something that progresses.
Yes.
So the first stages, when you love bombing, you're together, you're okay, definitely I was in the limelight.
Yes.
And hapo ilikuwa tu sawa. But now with time unakuja kupata akutaki around watu, anaanza kukuisolate.
Yes.
Sometimes you're always on the, not sometimes, I was always on the wrong.
Yes.
Unashika. So hakuna kitu nilikuwa nafanya ilikuwa right. And then because I remember when I left, okay, the rest, because I still have other kids, the first two.
Yes.
With the last one, because I know I left when I was pregnant, yeah. Yeah, so before I noticed, now what happened nilikuwa like, I apana. Yeah, the control was too much, the isolation, the yani by the time anamazana na wewe, self-esteem yako iko zero.
Yes.
Yeah, so
oh gosh. Pole.
yeah,
Pole.
but it was not ati kuniataka no, that one is no.
And then this is the person who is supposed to be providing love to you. Na amekuwa kikushow love. So you definitely have positioned this person in your mind as whenever I think about love, I think about this person. Yeah. Whenever I think about safety, I think about this person. And then all of a sudden, ama imekuwa gradual. Kuna vile sasa anaanza kukufine tune pole pole. You know, like making sure that you're starting to see yourself in a different way, in a different line, because somehow you've trusted this person with yourself. So anything anasema, and you somehow una think about it, whether it's true or not, but most of the times you think it's true. So akianza kukuabuse ama kukuambia vitu less about yourself, the way you behave, the way you dress, ulikuwa unajibebaje, ulikuwa unafanya nini, by the end of the day when it's repeated, it starts registering in your mind. So whether you know it or not, you are being abused emotionally. Your mental status is no longer the same, so you don't see yourself the same way. That's abuse.
And for any of you, has it ever become physical?
Oh, of course. For me, mine, it started so well because at first it was love. Love. Uni mtu alinijua when I was very young, and then he was working. Actually, I think mahali alikosea, ama mahali nilikosea for me, alinipata shule. Alinipata nikifanya a course there. So na sikuwa na do. So mtu nikampata akaanza kunilipia school fees. Mwaka ya kwanza, ya pili and everything. So nikamaliza, nikarudi Nairobi, and ameshanileta Nairobi. Now sasa hata sifanyi kazi, yeye ndo analilipia bills. Now from there things started going. Inaitangwa nini? Hivi. Like, this guy ananifanyia kila kitu, shopping, everything. And then, you know, na kila mtu anaona, my friends wanaona nafanywa shopping na 23,000, hizo maenzi, nalipiwa nyumba, na sifanyi kazi, napelekwa Naivasha, napelekwa sijui wapi. Akaanza sasa, ndio maana nasemanga, like, mtu akianza kukupoint hivi, mimi akianza kukuambia, ile siku atakwambia ati wewe like, just pointing, nilianza tu na hivyo, wewe takuchapa, wewe mara ya 3, sasa hiyo ni kuchapwa. So mine, for me, it was like vita every day, and you're fighting for nothing. Actually, you're fighting because hiyo yako emotion ilianza by the kukua like ghosting and everything, so inani affect. Unaninyamazia, you ghosted me, why? Sina hakuna reason ya ghost. And then alikuwa anaishi mbali, so yeye ndo alikuwa analipa bills. He always made sure rent ikikaribia anani ghost. So mimi niko zile kwa nini unaninyamazia every time, lazima tunge. So na unajua watu wenye abuse emotionally ama physically, when you try to bring a conversation ama to discuss something ama an issue, you never discuss,
ana deflect,
like every time akunanga kitu mnaongeanga. So for me, it piled up, zina pile. So the moment zinalipuka, now I'm the one to blame. You get? Hey, you reacting, overreacting, so vita ikaanza kuingililia hapo. Mali hata even for me, I started now even fighting. Mali hata tulikuwa tunapigana, sasa anasema hapana. And then, you know, he's huge, he's big. Na uwezi mgonga jua na kugonga, unashindwa kujidefend. So for me, akinirushia ngumi na hepa, natupa ile kitu kama ni kitu kama hii. Sasa yeye ni mfight na hizo. Hizo ama naenda nyuma yake na mkula like, oh gosh, it was na muuma maskio. And then, you know, when for me, hii time ya kufight, hii time yote ya kufight, every time we would fight with this guy, for me, haikuanga mimi. For real, it was not me. Like, it's like a demon, because you don't care. Unajua fight zinakujanga. Si unaonanga venye how people fight in clubs.
Hasira.
Like, hata mtaki kujua, you haukuangi wewe. For me, it's like a spirit, bad energy kinakuingia. Whoever, kama mnakuangamia whoever mwenye atakufa, mmoja aende kamiti, mwingine anaenda. Kwanza, I remember I used to tell him, umenizoea sana. Sasa wacha tupigane, mmoja aende kamiti, ule mwingine aende kwenye watu mortuary. Like, you don't care.
You shall perish, you
yes. So, and then for me, nilikuwa nashindwa hata kumwacha. But anyway, hizi tutaendelea tukiongea juu, it's a whole story.
And let me ask you, so hii yote ilikuwa ina happen mkiwa nje ama just kwa setup ya nyumba, just the two of you?
Kuna time, also, kila mahali nje, ndani, kila mahali.
And assuming mko nje, maybe set up, maybe in a restaurant, or maybe out somewhere. After hiyo fight yote, bado unaenda naye nyumbani ama kila mtu anaenda kivyake ama how?
I can explain. Mimi, I don't know. Gosh, now, by the way, we are not judging. We listen, but we don't judge.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I think for me, ndio nikuwe na huyu mtu, I would say it was financial whatever.
Yeah.
But still, there was something else. Trauma. Unaona venye pia mtu
trauma bond.
Yes. Kuna matrauma. There was something that nilikuwa nimeishi kutafuta. And every time I date a guy, I'm trying to look for this love yenye na krevia. And then, let me say, sijui kama no, I won't blame myself, but anyway, I won't blame myself. Uni mtu, like, when I meet this guy, ashanionyesha ile love mtu anakulipia bills kwanza ukiwa mtoto mdogo. Usiashaanza kuact kama mzazi. You're so young. So for me, I started feeling that love yenye sikuipata na na baba yangu. Yenye nimeishi kukrivia. By the way, I've always hii ni kitu nimeishi kukrivia for a very long time. So this guy came and did everything yenye baba yangu hakuwaifanya. So I started, so una imagine that attachment, attachment. Huyu mtu hata akini ghost me, I don't care, hata rudi tu, hata akini gonga. I remember there was a time tulikuwa tumeenda out with my friend and ananiambia, no, let's call your friend. And let me tell you one thing, these abusers, to your friends, they are very nice. Kwanza, oh my gosh, they act, you call your friends, we go out to ni wapeleke sijui wapi. My friends nikiwaambia huyu mtu ananigonga, they wanasema, unajua unaongeanga sana, unakuwa nani, wewe ndio mbaya, wewe ndio huyo mtu anakaa tu mpole. But alikuwa ananichapa and ilikuwa imefika mahali I don't know kupendwa na mtu mwingine. This is the only person who fought me when I was broken at my lowest. And kanipea ile life yenye I've never sijai experienced this kind of life. So this guy amekuja and he would apologize, and then he knew. They always know. Alikuwa anajua akinichapa kama tukienda out. Unatreatiwa na mini vacation ama unaachiwa. Unaona wale watu wa pole babe, ni makasiriko nini anakuachia 20,000 hapo ufanye shopping, the following day anakuambia. So for me naona I was still young, naona mtu anaweza kosa, mtu kama hakupendi hawezi hizi pesa zote. So I think ni yeye tu, he's just been
inafika point hadi unajishuku unasema ama ni mimi
niko na shida. So every time akinichapa ingekuwa ile ya and then sikuwa najua. Hata actually there's a time I tried even moving on nilikuwa nasema by the way natoka, lakini nikipata mtu mwingine naenda naanza kuongea na watu wengine, but the moment naona this guy you are too nice, me you are too nice, me I'm used to that being beaten, being ghosted.
Hiyo ndio mimi najua ni love.
Yes, so when you start treating me nicely, uko na mission. So ikakuwa mpaka very hard for me to date, to even love again. I mean,
that's a very bad effect of toxic relationship.
Yes,
because
it was so bad.
So I have a question. So after that, have you ever been in a soft, in a relationship with someone who's
with
nicer?
tenderness?
And after how long?
For me, it got worse. Nilihil. Wacha niseme nilihil because ilifika mahali I didn't feel nothing. I felt flat. So I was so bitter, nimeishi kukua bitter na huyu mtu alinichapa, alifanya vitu worse hata kunichapa. Hata mahali I couldn't even eat. It's like he's starving me. Always. Na sijui kwa nini wao time tu. Sijui, they know we women, we are beautiful. They know this is
akuharibu sura ndio mwingine asikuangalie.
Kugonge mangumi, akuchune, unagwaro, unashindo, unaniguaria nini. So, ilifika mahali, so I'm done. Na nikasema, nimeenda. Na hiyo by the way sikuwa iharakishwa juu ilifika mahali hata mabishto wangu wananiambia they got tired. Hata ilifika mahali now this kind of people they will ghost, they will make sure you and your friends kacha. Hata ni venye even your family ni venye tu hawana, hata kuna wengine wao wanafanya hata
wana cut off pia family.
But this one for me actually it's me nilikuwa naacha mabishto wangu. Do you know why? Because I know what I'm going through. I know I'm not happy. I'm crying. Kuna time I was asking myself, Lois, ukiketi chini hivi, ebu hesabu zile time umekuwa happy. I don't even remember being happy. It's just si unapewa tu pesa na hizo pesa hata zikusaidia. Na hakuna kitu. There was hakuna kitu ilikuwa inafaa niweke hapo, but nilikuwa nashindwa kutoka. Mpaka I'm hating myself. Why am I doing this to myself? Akinichapa akinichapa akienda najiuliza kwa nini siwezi jitoa hapa, mpaka nauliza mama yangu. That time my mom was alive. And then mamangu ananiambia huyu mtu ni mpoa, wewe ndio huyu mtu alikuwa amefika mahali uwezi ambia mabeshte wako mtu anakuchapanga, until alinichapa mbele ya mabeshte yangu nikajipata kwa floor nimeenda hivi nje. So for me, kujitoa it was so hard. But the moment nilijitoa nikasema, you know, I'm trying to heal and everything. But later on, nikaanze sema like, let me start loving again, giving love a chance. But this time, sasa ubaya wa kupitia hizi vitu zote,
unachagua sana.
And then you're so scared. Tulikuwa tunaenda hata date, nikienda date na mtu akiamka na inaitangwa kuhahoka. Naona ama akifanya hivi juu nimezoea. So naona hata akichukua simu. Naona kuna kakitu inakujia. Exactly, juu nimezoea.
Unafikiria anakurushia kitu.
And then unapata mtu mwingine unaona huyu si wa kunichapa. Huyu sasa ni wa ikafika mahali now I'm going with condition. Ati sasa nikianza kudate, you know mimi communication is everything because I know mimi huyu mtu alini damage emotionally and physically.
Especially I think if you're an overthinker, mtu kama ha communicate unaanza like think of so many scenarios, unasema ama nimefanya nini? Kwani nimetext, kwani amesoma hii text na tone inakaa aje? Do I call him again?
Nini alienda akapata kashida mahali mpaka ushaanza
sasa hadi unaanza kufikiri ama ameni replace ama ako na mtu mwingine ama ako na nini, like anakuchezea akili. Yeah, it is.
It's really bad. Na bado ukimtext unaona ndio huyu online na anasoma
na anakuacha na blue tick.
Gosh, mpaka unaanza sasa kuji-explain kwani what did I do? Is this something? Kuna kitu nimefanya imekufanya ujam. Gosh.
And those ones are the covert ones. So I think we spoke about narcissism last time hapa. So kuna all the covert narcissists. I think we said last time. Those ones wanakupea cold war, they don't talk, they're very calm.
Ndio ukibas
wewe ndio problem.
Anasema unaona vile anafanyanga,
atakupatiza cold treatment, atakuwa emotionally unavailable, atakustarve emotionally. He's not going to be there.
Yes.
Na sasa wewe ukioverthink uko like wewe una kazi ya kufanya ama wewe when kila time itakuwa ni kutext ama una get.
Yes. Na unajua akirudi when they come back after ghosting, no explanation, no sorry. So mnaketi chini like
muendelee tu na maisha.
Like haku any explanation.
No.
You songe na move on with
like,
life.
And then ina happen tena. That's why I usually say sasa watu wamenifanyia hii mambo. When akishafanya the first time, trust you me, you will do it again. They will do it again and again. Si ati amefanya tu once na nini.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you. So Maria kwanza after alikugonga, definitely you forgave him. Akakwambia ata change. I think you ndio kwanga.
Hata tusiseme definitely. Usi forgive.
Yes. I'm just saying.
By the way unasemanga
because you're like
from my experience because ametuambia episode.
It's multiple.
Unaona. So hiyo ya kwanza alikwambia change.
Yeah, of course. Every time
akikugonga anakuambia ata change.
Na hiyo pole, na sasa wacha nikwambie hiyo pole haitafanywa mahali hivi. Hiyo pole ushafungwa macho, umepelekwa somewhere and
unasema wow.
Yes.
The same intensity of the pain.
And then anakushokea like you can watu gosh wako na two different personalities. Akikugonga you see actually ilikuwa imefika mahali naona I think huyu mtu si mwenye ile time akiwa calm si huyu. Juu every time ange raise mkono ama his voice those are face nilikuwa naona kama demon. Sio yeye, he's not himself. Lakini sasa wacha hiyo maneno iishe. Oh gosh, the sweetest boy.
So wait, I have an issue with that statement. Unaona venye tumezoea kuiput, amesema tu vizuri ati when he's violent, that's not him.
Yeah.
He is the sweet one.
Na hiyo ndo wanatumianga.
So even when he's wild, it's still the same person.
Ni yeye tu.
Yes, ni yeye tu.
Tufiseme tu ni vile amepata tu excuse ya kukupiga.
Na the other side ika show.
And sometimes utakuja kupata atakwambia I was nilikuwa hivyo kwa nyumba. So the minute you raise that I feel that unani abuse. Atakuwa like kama ungenifanyia apologies
victim blaming.
I remember myself there's a day I went out. Then yeye vizuri ko like I think anytime kwenda out unajua umekuwa kwa nyumba for a long time because you just say guys can go out anytime. Akaniambia I think unaweza enda out nimekupatia ruhusa. So I think it was on a Friday or Saturday. I think so nimekupea ruhusa. Kwa maana lazima uombe ruhusa. Sasa apparently lazima usikie approval. Kama can I go out, can I go spend night time with my friends? So ikakuwa ni sawa. So na ilikuwa ngani pattern like every time nikienda out pia hiyo enda out still mimi niko kwa nyumba
lakini ya kuombi ruhusa
sasa hiyo inamia ni ruhusa but each time mimi nikienda out yeye narudi mapema you get my seat is going to be there
ndio uchelewe
wewe
and I remember even my friends, a few of my friends, I won't mention their names, pia tulikuwa the same industry ilikuwa inafika mahali ananiambia leo aja ku video call cause I had to ni prove niko hapa na hapa
upige picha
piga simu unaonyesha uko na kina nani kata na yako home na mimi sifanye hivyo so for real sasa niwaambie sasa so that day sana nikiwa out yana kwa nyumba ako like ni 8 kwani ujarudi home nilikwambia like okay tuko mali out na already nishaku prove I'm with the girls simu after simu what kind of woman goes out na umepatio hiyo ruhusa so I come back home around 11-12
amefunga mlango
and you want to open the door
so the whole time you've not even had a good time because he's still
amekuwa kiku stress
wewe ndio usikuwe na good time wewe jaribu fanya hiyo mistake ati when is out with the boys ushinde umempigia simu wewe shida yako ni gani una chakula nini umekosa you get you have everything lakini sasa ikifika ni tani yako atafika mapema ndio ashinda mark time nani yako hapa nje mpaka saa hii haya unamwambia okay sawa ndio nimetoka intentionally as hivyo tu sasa umeshinda he's not time usingizi tu ni ile si ndio by the time unafika nyumbani umering bell
no one
I have a question because Sharon amesema kitu very interesting hapo amesema kwani huna food kwa nyumba do you guys feel like the abusers and not to justify they make it a reason a point to financially make sure that you are not succeeding like ukwe dependent on them like unataka food
hata mimi nimekuwa na few instances mali namwambia like okay nimeitwa hii gig na hii gig I have to go ananiambia choose your job ama marry chagua moja
na ukisipomchagua marry
na ukachagua job ni hivyo
hiyo time sababu ya job
inakuanga ngumu ama hata wangu hata ukipata job anakuja anasema hataki bibi yangu hawezi hata alikuwa ananiita bibi na hiyo time hujakuwa hata bibi anakuja anasema
anakupea title
and the minute I would raise that I like mbona ulinifunga nje sasa lazima nitafute mali nitalala I'm telling you atafungua akoleka hata siku nasikia mlango
na alikuwa nasikia
and then it was so bad cause imagine niko nje wife unajua your lover assuming the mother of your kids huko tu umelala punishing her kwa sababu ya nini kwenda out ama
have fun just being happy
and he gave you permission nemo you're communicating your day the next time ukimuuliza nini anakuambia lakini kama ungechelewa singefanya hivyo kama ama unajua sometimes akishout uko like wewe ndio unanitrigger aje so
and I hate that shouting thing to be honest because wewe ni mtu mzima we can have a civilized conversation like this mbona una scream
maybe at that time
na ninakusikia your tone will not change how the information arrives
You know something else I have picked from these stories and those that I've seen online, like the one you said ati kwani hamna food, and then the other one of him making sure that he's providing finances. I feel like most of the times they make sure that they've put you in a point of dependency in a way that yani
ukienda utaenda wapi
unashikilia hivi that anytime you try and raise, either they remind you ukitoka hapa hautakuwa na hiyo kitu, if it's money, if it's marriage, if it's food, if it's taking care of the kids for some women, you know, or kama sasa hivyo anakuuliza kwani hauna hii, kwani sijafanya vile,
pesa, the fact that ana provide is an excuse for him to abuse you. However,
kama amekukage kwa nini yake hivi huwezi jitoa kwa hiyo situation,
and that is why first anakunyima hiyo opportunity
ya furaha,
empowered yourself to get that thing, ndio unamdepend hivi kama kupe.
And I think most women, because sometimes ukisikiza like your story you like okay mbona ulikaa, lakini utapata most women the same thing unasema, utapata kids in good schools, na the same get akamena ujo kutoka hapa kwa nyumba by the way,
sleep school fees,
na sleep school fees na provide food.
Na watoto washapeleka.
Na watoto washapeleka.
So unajua where are you going?
Ile ya US inaitangwa aje, ile ya kulipa nini? Child support. Act ya nani?
But let me tell you,
try that.
Assuming wewe mwenyewe kama una hiyo financial independence.
Oh yeah, ya kuepeleka kesi.
Hata huko ni pesa.
Yeah.
You need money.
You need money.
So you're not going to go anywhere.
It's the audacity to physically and emotionally and even mentally abuse someone. And then when this person tries to get out of your hold, the first thing you think about is sitalipia watoto wenye mumepata na huyu mtu school fees. I will not provide for. In short, you're not, sorry to say, you're not a man.
And so what they do, au blackmail. Wanakuambia ukitoka hapa hakuna mtu unataka kuangalia tena. Unaambia wewe vile unakaa hivi, mama sijui watoto watatu, watoto wawili, nani unaenda wapi? Nani atakupenda? And the same person anakuambia hivyo. It's the same person who go out there and still hit on a lady, a single lady, but a single mother with kids.
Na ale vizuri.
Na wale
atawasaidia.
Na waite my kids.
Na waite my kids.
Oh my gosh.
And I tend to feel like peer society ndio to fail because hata ukisema unataka kurudi home unaambiwa nini?
Wewe burudi, rudi kwa
umekosa nini? Unapewa food. Rent inalipwa. Nguo, watoto wanasoma. What is your problem? Na uchapwi. Sasa
kama yako
ni na uchapwi, what's your problem? And sometimes pia unasikia because definitely remember this abuser ashakusema mpaka home. Leo ni kichwa ngumu, maybe yangu ilikuwa anakuja asubuhi aje na 11 but anyway una get. So ukienda bado home unaambiwa nini? Uzo mwanamke afai kwa mwanamke
hata marriage yangu hata mimi na baba yako unaona venye tumevumilia.
Unaambia mwanamke unafanya nini nje? Why going out and your mind? So inafaa kuwa wewe watoto na yeye. The same thing umesema, the isolation.
Some people are from this abusive, have been raised in these abusive relationships, right? Like say with my experience, it was more of, I saw it from a kid's perspective. Na ni mimi, hadi I tell my mom, I regret asking for my dad to come back. Na ni juu, nilikuwa under the influence of, naona hizi shows za US. Man, what family ni? Mama, baba, mtoto, you know, dog, munaishi poa. Mimi nikafikiria, wow, hii ni family. Alafu sasa mnasoma kuhusu nuclear family, extended family, angandiwe what. You're like, kwani what is up with my family? Haya, cut to me naangalia my aunties. At that time I was like, my aunties, maybe their husbands have passed. They're not here out of sheer choice. Until mamangu akasema, okay, sawa basi wacha tu akuje akae. My mom she's never even said anything negative. She was like, okay, sawa basi juu mtoi ameitisha. Okay, so we just try to create this family this kid wants. Alijionyesha yeye mwenyewe. Every time it used to be like, and my mom is the breadwinner. Inafika point, she's the one paying the rent, the school fees, and she's the one with the car. Uwezi ishi kwa amani. Hakuna kitu imenunuliwa kwa hiyo nyumba. Ni yeye amenunua. My mom is the one who's buying everything. But ikifika ati mnaenda hadi kuona TV, mkienda kuona Kwando Sesimia hiyo saa 8 you're like, wow, it's our show. Ana switch TV station anaweka kwingine. Anasema yeye anataka kuona wrestling. Enda uchange uone. This one time I went and tried to change. I was like, let's just watch for today. Ile kushauti, I went back to my mom. The next morning I'm hearing he's hitting her. I'm like, kwani what is happening? Nilikuwa nashindwa kwani hivi ndio hizi families za US zuishi ama ni nini inaendelea? Inafika point hadi anamnyang'anya kiza gari yake haizi enda job. Ati no, I need to use the car. Aka it has not purchased.
Uska.
Yeah.
Na fuel.
Anafuel na pesa nani? Sini ya mdhama.
And then unakumbuka huyu mzazi ameletwa na mama yako juu
yangu saa kwa akili yangu niko zile za, so this is why then it started hitting me. Like now when we were growing up, I was like looking at my photos and I had this cake. I had this birthday cake when I was, I think in pre-unit or something. It was a purple love heart cake. Alafu imeko hadi tu vitu to white to decorations and I was so excited that my dad had bought me my birthday cake. Si alikuwa amebuy keki.
Ni nani?
My mom. So my mom had been taking credit, has been giving credit to him when he's not providing, he's not doing anything, he's not creating a relationship. So nilikuwa naambia my nini, when I was going back and I'm like, my mom tolerated too much. And she did this because, mtoi ameitisha. She didn't have to go back to this abusive relationship because already ashajua. I was around my grandparents. I had very loving aunties and uncles. But my mom akasema, let me sacrifice and try to make this work for this kid. When I tell you, siku moja kiliwaka, akafukuza my mom out of the house she's paying rent for. Mind you, yeye ndo amekuja. Right? So ikafika point, imefika hadi polisi wamekam nini. So I don't know if you guys know zile nyumba za kitambo zikuanga na kabalkoni hapa kabla muingie main door, ndo mfungue main door. Penye mnaweka tu viatu ndio sasa mfungue. So the cops are there, he's yelling. Mimi huyo nikaenda nikapitia backyard. Miguu tupu, I said, niliambia mama, never ever again. I want him gone. Ever since then, sijai on a peace of mind. And I feel like my mom has gone through a lot of abuse, and she's never, not once, badmouthed my dad. Yes. She has never. She's a wise woman. She has never said anything wrong. Inafikanga hata point, tunakosana, ananiambia, no, Natasha, that's your dad. That is, kwanza hata mujam. Ananiambia, no, that's your dad. Please maintain that relationship. But then I'm like, he has nothing nice to say when he's the abuser. So mimi nashinda si hata ukasirike uongee mbaya. Like kuwa kama yeye. She went through so much abuse. And yeye akaheal too. Akasema, you know what, I'm not gonna give you a chance to control the narrative. You can atajiprove tu ye mwenye, because most people who like are abusive and they see other people thriving, they're just awapendi ati una thrive bila mimi aje. How? So they always want to have something negative to say about you. Whereby my mom just was like, you know what, where life is, you being a statement in my words is not building me, it's not bringing any income. So by all means, with lack of a better word, at that time, seeing is believing, and as kids you never forget. You never forget. Mimi hata ukanipeleka kwa hiyo nyumba naweza kuonesha ni exactly wapi. Abuse is at its peak. Like the abuse is at peak. Ukiwa na ball, when you're pregnant, and when you're postpartum. And the comment section were crazy. Ladies were like, yeah, it's true. Because apparently, so when you're pregnant, not the ladies who have been pregnant, correct me please. So when you're pregnant, you need your partner for emotional support, physical and financial also. You also need them for your mental support, right? So you're dependent on this person that you're having a child with. So yeye anaona, mimi ndio ecosystem yako. Mimi kwa hivyo neza kuabuse vile. Saizi nikitaka kukuruin kabisa. This is the time. This, and after umepata mtoi, first of all, ukishapata mtoi, you have postpartum depression. So you're not yourself, you're not confident, you're not everything, that you're not what you used to be before the pregnancy and everything. So now they're like, you know what? Sasa si nilikumaliza before. Vile ulikuwa na ball. Sasa wacha nifanye hivi. Sasa uko na hii postpartum, now let me finish you properly. Let me now, this is a corpse. I'm about to incinerate you. Hakuna kitu tabaki hata hizo ashes.
Oh gosh.
So in the comment section, there was this lady who was saying she got her baby and she hata stitches zake hazikuwa zimeheal, right? Amekaa 3 months. The mom is coming to help her, anakuja anasaidiwa maybe like once a week hivi nini, wanakuja wanamuona anamsaidia na vitu nini. Guess what this guy did? In those 6 months while she was healing, this man was repeatedly raping her.
What?
Aja heal. Akona mtoi. She has wounds. Inafika point hadi stitches zake zinafunguka. She has to go back to hospital.
Hey.
So like she's being raped during this time. Anarudishwa hosi stitches. Mjama. And then I think when she was talking, alikuwa anasema, there was another lady pia alisema ati inafikanga point when your ladies wanna give birth, sometimes your you open up a little because your cervix has to bring life. She had one of the husbands saying, oh, na ukishona, shona tighter.
Yeah.
So it's not about wewe mwili yako kwanza sasa umegain weight, you're having all these hormonal issues, you have maybe sagged skin, you have so many stretch marks, your body is changing to adapt and be able to cater to this life that you've brought. Mtu anaona ini kani burden. Matter of fact, wewe si kale ka babes nilikuwa najua yeye hata aoni hiyo. Ati you need to lose some weight nini. I'm telling you, she was saying how she got assaulted for 6 months. Ikafika point akasema acha aende. And the reason she left is because she became suicidal. Alikuwa ataka kujimaliza na malize mtoi waende. She'd prefer death than staying in that house.
Gosh. It's called the intimate partner violence. Like where just because niko kwa marriage inakupatia right
to access my body vile unataka.
Unaget. So if you wake up in the morning uniambia just because maybe nimezaa sindio, my body may change, ama nanuka maziwa, ama like you say is not tight,
ama umenona,
ama nimenona, ama sijui what. The minute ukiniambia hivyo asubuhi, assuming it's in the morning, maybe umeniambia kitu kama hiyo, how am I supposed to make love to you jioni?
But you have to sasa kwao.
Nikikosa ku make love to you, if I don't give it to you,
you force yourself on me.
You force yourself on me. Ama pia utumie ile na nikienda nje usiniblame.
Unaanza hata kuweka vitu huko kujiosha ndio ikue hiyo tight venye anataka. Unaanza kufanya vitu zenyewe like sio wewe unajifanyia, unafanyia.
Unaanza kukua hapa makigo ukirelease.
Oh gosh. That's so sad.
Yeye ni nini amesacrifice? Nothing.
And also to add to that, let us not forget that there are men out there who are also going through GBV. Like unapata sasa yeye, he's not the toxic one in the relationship.
Victim hapo.
In one way or another.
Na unasikianga hata ushago, unasikia si hata baba nani anachapangwa na nani mamake ama bibi yake. Like it's alafu ni kama for men when they are on the receiving end, it's demeaning.
Yes.
You know, like for a man inakwanga hivi si ndio tunafaa tukue, you know, ni kama ni yes, but for the man it's like ni demeaning. Alafu inafika point unapata like for income houses where the woman is making money, unapata like maybe chali amefutwa job ama something has come up and they're not financially okay. Inafika point because sisi tumeoneshwa a man is supposed to provide. At this point this guy is not providing. Unadu nini hapa? Naweza kuonesha mtu dem anakuonesha madharau vile anajisikia, which is genuinely not right. Heshima inafaa idumu both sides. And now we're going to go for a short commercial break, but when we come back, a beautiful lady is going to be gracing our presence. She is a gender-based violence survivor and she's an activist, and how she tells her story is very unique and informative. And remember, she's also seeking justice for women and men who have also been victims of gender-based violence. See you in a few. Welcome back, my beautiful people. So today we are joined by our activist and survivor of gender-based violence. Now, for me, this is a very dear conversation because this is a woman who has been there when I was growing up. We've worked together. You guys have seen her on TV. So for her to speak about her experience, it's coming from a personal place, a place of love, a place of shock, and a place of words cannot explain how I'm feeling, because at this point, this is someone uni mtu tunajua. So for her to share her story and be vulnerable with us, like I said, words cannot explain. So Gathoni, tell us more.
Thank you so much. My name is Gathoni. I'm a producer of theater and screen. I also write for TV. I'm also a mother of a 15-year-old girl. Thank you for having me. like she said, it's crazy now that we're sat on the same table talking like adults.
Yeah.
Well, I barely or basically raised you just the other day.
Very true.
But yes, so Free Me, first of all, is a theater show. We're putting my lived experience with gender-based violence on stage because in Kenya at the moment, and since 15 years ago when I left my marriage, the numbers haven't changed. In fact, they keep getting worse. Gender-based violence numbers, femicide numbers, rape numbers keep skyrocketing. And I think it's important that if you have the courage to speak about your experience, it's important that you use your voice to be able to free the other people who are still stuck, because there's still so many victims of gender-based violence who are either stuck in these relationships and they don't know they can leave, and even if they can leave, they don't know where to go or if there's life after leaving. But I am a living experience that there is life after leaving, so it's very, very important that you love yourself to be able to live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Gathoni, I'd like for our audience, because I believe like social media, kuna wenye hawajasikia story yako. By all means, please do take us through your experience with gender-based violence.
All right. So I won't give the whole story, but you'll come and see the rest of the story on stage.
Yeah.
Yes, but I think it's shocking every time I tell this story, because the older I grow, the more I learn and the more I realize what the red flags were before I could finally get myself to leave. But it started very, very innocently. Even before we started living together, before there was a rush and all of those processes, the first time we went out together and he dropped me back home, I remember I overslept and I woke up and I had 8 missed calls from him. And of course, I'm a 21-year-old girl. I'm not thinking kuna issue, but he had called 8 times to find out where I was, but I was sleeping. So when I called him back and I said, "Oh, you called me 8 times," I was like, "Yeah, I didn't know where you were." Like, I was sleeping. So then when we started living together, he'd take me to work. He'd pick me up and drop me to work, which I thought was, oh my God, my husband loves me so much. But he was actually doing these things to ensure that I'm not interacting with anyone else but him. And so one time, the first time he hit me, I had a conversation with someone, his friend on Facebook, and we were talking about a football player who was leaving our team, and we started to argue about the football player leaving. And so that evening when he came to pick me up from work, he wasn't talking to me. I'm like, what's going on? And then when we got to the house, he beat me up and asked me why I'm talking to his friends on Facebook. If I feel like I have the right or the permission to talk to his friends are not my friend. They are not my friends, and they should not be anywhere near me. So that's the first time he beat me up. And it was so shocking. I couldn't believe it. And you know, by the time someone starts to beat you violently, they've already beaten you with their words. So it was emotional abuse. He'll say things about me, mean things about me. He's rude. So by the time the physical violence came, I'd already been reduced to dust.
Yeah.
So from there on, it became a thing of, I have to watch what I'm saying, I have to watch what I post, I have to watch the music I listen to. Like, he controlled everything. By the second time he was beating me up, I had no friends. He had cut off my friends, like everything. Any time I spoke to anyone on the phone, he'd ask on my phone, unaongea na nani? Kwa nini unampigia simu? So it started becoming a thing that is so lonely and so empty. And there's even this one time when we had been planning a birthday for my friend. This was before even the marriage was still so new. And we finished planning the birthday party so late. I got back home and he had thrown everything of mine outside. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm packing my stuff to leave. And he bundled me up with the stuff and he threw me in the house and he beat me up so senseless. And then, so one of the things that would happen after he beats me up is the next day he'd love bomb me, he'd buy me things, he'd take me out. Like that week or for like 2 weeks, you wouldn't even believe it's the same person. And these beatings continued for 3 years. At some point, I remember when I got pregnant and I was working in an office for an insurance company. And one time he had come to pick me up with his friend and his friend asked, oh, Gathoni, I heard you're pregnant. How do you feel about it? I'm like, well, I don't know. It's my first time. I truly do not know how I feel. Sometimes I'm excited, sometimes I'm scared. So you'd imagine that because that's a very normal, common conversation and reaction. And we got home and he was so upset and he beat me up for saying, I don't know how I feel about being pregnant with this child. What? Yeah. So and it just kept escalating and escalating until one time that was really bad and I knew it was the last time I was taking the beating. My baby was just 3 months old. I'd just given birth. And it felt like when I look back, the flashes of memory that I have from that night felt like the way people are beaten at like when a thief is being beaten kwa barabara, mob justice. It felt like I was part of a mob justice and I was just being beaten by one person. But after that night, I knew it was time to leave. Yeah. And that's when I made the decision. I started looking for a job. I called home and I moved back home. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Why did you stay?
Yeah, a lot of people ask that question, and I know a lot of people ask that question from a place of not knowing, but by the time abuse is getting to physical, it starts with emotional abuse. So there's a lot of running your self-esteem down, making you feel small, making you feel useless unless you're attached to him. So by the time the beating comes, you're already so used to the verbal abuse that the physical is, well, it shocks you. You almost feel like different. It was coming. Yeah. So, and the answer to why didn't you leave is your abuser, and abusers most of the times will make you think that you're nothing without them. So in the process of the verbal abuse, that's how they start to take. It's just like a child, when you're raising a child and you start to tell them, when mjinga, you're so useless. Those are the things they grow up thinking and believing because that's the only information they're being fed. And it's the same thing. So by the time they're abusing you, you don't think your life can continue without them. So you don't want to leave.
Before you left, did you try leaving like once?
Once.
I'm going.
Kuna once nilitoka and as soon as I got home, pia yakafika na akanichukua tukarudi. Yeah.
After kukupiga, anaenda kwenu kwa wazazi?
Alafu hakukuwa na mtu. So alikuja akanipata tu ndio nimefika hivi, sema wewe ingia kwa gari turudi. Tukaingia kwa gari tukarudi.
Hakuna wazazi.
Wazazi hawako. Yeah.
Na ukikataa sasa univita.
Now that you mentioned that this was your first serious relationship, after you left and it was over, how long did it take you before you felt you were ready to get into another relationship?
Are you even in another relationship first to start there?
I have dated after, but it took me so long. In fact, the relationship I'd say was a relationship that was stable and good and felt like a relationship for the first time was in 2018 to 2021. So, and I'm very choosy about who I date, and because me hata ukinishautia imeisha. I don't care how much I like
especially
you.
with your previous experience, you have to be very picky.
Any red flag or any chance of feeling or seeing abuse, whether verbal, It hasn't gotten physical anywhere, but any drops of control or verbal abuse, I don't discuss it. It's
Now,
I'm done. I'm out.
I do have a question
I don't
for you,
get scared
Gadoni.
actually. Yeah.
You have a daughter, and I happen to know Milan. We've worked, ako ni kasichana tumelea basically. You've been talking about your experience and been very vocal to educating other women and making it known that, yes, I went through this, even as a public figure. How is Milan taking this whole process of you opening up and getting to know this other side of?
So she's taking it well, the long and short of it. But there has been conversations about it because this is not an easy conversation to have. That's her dad, whether I like it or not. That's her dad, and that's not something she can change. But she has expressed how grateful she is that I left, because she would not understand if I stayed with a violent person just so she could be around her father or just so we could be a family. So I was scared about having this conversation with her, but she's actually been very open and easy to talk to.
During this whole time you were going through all this abuse, you've left. I'm a big person of accountability. Have you received any apology, any accountability? Because I'd genuinely like to know, because you've said you were pregnant. This person was abusing you while you were carrying their child.
Well, the thing about narcissists and abusers is that they don't think they owe you an apology. It's not something I'm waiting for. If I was waiting for an apology to continue living my life, I'm still waiting. But it's not, it doesn't determine how I heal. It doesn't determine how I move forward. I've been moving forward without the apology, and I intend to be even bigger. So
do you, tumepitia hizi nini zote na shida zote kupigwa and everything, do you fully heal? This is something like you'll never forget?
I don't think you heal. I don't think you heal. The downside of love is grief and pain. Like the opposite of love is grief and pain. When someone dies, you never heal. You just learn to live with it. The abuse happened to me, to my body, mentally. Physically, I may have healed, but mentally, there's a traumatic effect that happens that you can't do anything about. You learn to forgive yourself, first of all, for not choosing yourself, for staying, but also you learn that that's not something you ever want to experience again. So that's the best you can do. Unfortunately, not every woman who goes through gender-based violence walks out alive. And I would hate for me to have this big voice that I'm not using for anything. It really would be a waste of, space. It would be a waste of time on earth. I'm using my story really to just be able to free more victims, to make victims realize there's life beyond your abuser. It's important that you put your foot down and be able to choose yourself and to love yourself. And it's not easy. I don't imagine walking away or walking out is easy. I was there, I was not able to walk away for 3 years. So I'm hoping that this story does something, not just for the people who are gonna come see it, but even beyond. That when you see this story or when you hear this story, you know it's possible for you to survive it. Yeah.
Wow. Yes. This is a very touching, and I don't know, we are critically thinking right now. We have a lot of emotions. Clearly, we have a lot of emotions.
We've seen it all. Oh gosh.
Because I feel like you think your experience is worse, unasikia ya mwingine.
Yeah. I think it's also a call to the government, because this is something that needs to be criminalized. And even the way police handle cases of gender-based violence and rape needs to change. The way the media reports and portrays stories of femicide, gender-based violence, all of that needs to change if we're going to change the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Gathoni's story. You can find her on Instagram and Twitter. She's very vocal on Twitter, by the way, at Queen Gathoni. Like she said, there's a lot of women who are also like reaching out to her and talking. Feel free. This is not a space to judge. She is not one to judge. And don't ever feel like your truth is in any way small or invaluable or invalid. By all means, speak up, and if you need help, ask us. Itisha. We are here to be vocal for you. If you cannot be vocal for yourself, sit to shout. Speak up. We'll speak up for you.
Your voice matters.
Yes. Clock it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. I hope this episode brings a lot of courage to you, strength and healing to you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this topic, as much as we are speaking as women, it also affects men. So do not feel like you're restricted gender-wise, ati ni madem tu wanaongea, mimi siwezi ongea. Abuse is abuse, violence is violence, and it does not discriminate. Yes. We also have plaques, girls. Ours reads, Stop Gender-Based Violence.
Your voice matters.
No more silence.
And that's it today on Tea and Truth. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to sip and spill.
Bye.
Bye-bye.